I don't know if it's my MGS fan bias kicking in, or the fact I'm still coming down from the high of the surprise MGS Delta trailer that premiered at the Xbox showcase, but I'm getting less and less concerned about this remake as we become more exposed to its contents. A couple of people in the comments asked me to speak on the previous in-engine showcase, but there was very little to go on other than the immense relief I got from seeing that crouch walking is finally confirmed. Now I have more to talk about. I'm really beginning to like what I see, but as usual, I have a few minor apprehensions that haven't been addressed yet. Firstly, it looks fantastic, which is the bare minimum of what we all expected. But my previous concern about Unreal Engine 5 doing all the heavy lifting seems to be somewhat alleviated. That's because I can see genuine passion put into the tiniest of minor details. I recommend you all watch the 4K version of the trailer, as YouTube's compression really did a number on the amount of effort on display here. It's extremely minor, but I love the now fully animated hair animations, bringing life to Snake's model in ways that would make the Phantom Pain jealous. On a side note, I just realized that this game will come out 10 years after the release of Phantom Pain, which is very depressing. Anyways, I hope the level of detail showcased here in both gameplay and cinematics is representative of all aspects of the game. This is not a remake you can cut corners on. Every mainline Metal Gear game, whether you like them or not, were years ahead of their time in terms of innovation, fidelity, and thinking outside the box techniques, no pun intended. This is especially the case for Snake Eater. Snake Eater cast a shadow so big, most games for the next 4 years were playing catch up. Delta cannot come out in 2025 and play like a game that came out in 2025. In order to hold a candle to the original, you can't just mimic it with a fresh coat of paint. You have to respect how much it pushed the envelope, and to do so now, in an era where graphical fidelity has lost its impact, the focus needs to be honed in on ways that will make it stand out from the endless photorealistic Unreal Engine 5 games we'll be exposed to in many years to come. Maybe that's too tall of an order to ask, but that's what happens when you try to remake something so sacred in the games industry. I can only hope that they make a valid attempt. I guess you could say I'm cautiously optimistic going forward, especially knowing some original members of the Snake Eater team are involved with the project. Who better understands what made Snake Eater tick than the folks who brought it to life? Ironically, seeing the cutscenes in the trailer made me appreciate Snake Eater more, because with this new visual upgrade, I'm picking up more nuance in the performances of the models. The cinematography and early use of mocap makes these cutscenes go toe to toe with modern games. It's really impressive. And now we get to see more life in every frame, which is one of the benefits this remake has going for it. But the challenge of recreating yet slightly updating the gameplay is still my biggest worry. A lot of Snake Eater's challenge was a direct result of the tanky and punishing controls. It does not control smoothly. There was a relatively steep learning curve in order to achieve mastery of its control scheme, which was very rewarding if you were willing to put the time in, but 2004 was a different era of gaming. It simply cannot suffice in a modern release. Now we can already see they're making changes to the gameplay, crouch walking and over-the-shoulder aiming being the biggest. Everything flows so much smoother and it looks easy to engage with. The problem is, Snake Eater's world, its AI and its environmental hazards weren't designed with this smooth, easy gameplay in mind. So to implement this new system could greatly shorten the game's length, especially for the Snake Eater veterans, of which I am not. So what are they going to do to account for the new system? There's also no confirmation on whether they're going to make the map zones seamless, or are they keeping the transition. This might be asking too much, but I hope they tweak the backpack system. There are way too many times in Snake Eater where you have to pause the game to change camo or heal a wound, and you spend half your playtime in menus, interrupting the flow of gameplay far too often. And that's not even counting the times you go into the codec. If they could find a way to make the survival viewer a little more seamless and real-time focused, that would work wonders. As far as audio goes, I couldn't be more pleased. Hearing the original recordings works as flawlessly as I imagined.
This will be a sneaking mission. You must not be seen by the enemy.
I'm glad all the original audio is retained, not just the voice recordings. You see, it was only after revisiting Snake Eater this year and watching a friend play for the first time that I realized the utmost importance of unique audio design. There is nothing like a Metal Gear Solid game when it comes to this. The amount of exceptional sound effects created for almost every little interaction gives this series so much personality, it's insane. I realize the importance of that aspect so much more now, because there is such a lack of focus on this component in AAA games of today. It's clearly an afterthought, along with modern UI and modern HUD. Personality goes a long way in the game's impact on the player. Just look at how ingrained the MGS1 alert sound and exclamation mark is in internet culture. Half the content creators that use it don't even know where it's from, yet it's such a popular sound. Great and inventive sound effects can outlive the games to implement it. Alright, that's enough whining and nitpicking from me. So much for my plan of making a 5-minute video about my thoughts on the new trailer. Instead, you got rants about graphical fidelity, modern gameplay implementation, audio design, and to top it all off, you got more needless worship of Sneak Eater than is probably warranted at this point. Still though, hopefully we all learned something along the way. On a final note, I've looked at this ending snippet of the trailer, and I can't help but think they might have tweaked the lip flaps to be more in sync with the English voices.
Commencing virtuous mission now.
I'll have to see more to confirm it because I can't really tell, but I thought that was interesting to note. Anyway, as someone who did not expect to see Delta again until the Tokyo Game Show, this was an amazing surprise gift. But considering this game isn't coming out until next year, at the earliest, it's going to be one slow year.